buy these powerful Yu-Gi-Oh cards before they skyrocket in price. Today, me and chat are going to be talking about some Yu-Gi-Oh cards that I would be picking up if I were you, because we think that these cards are going to be incredible. Just recently, we were right about long-term investments in cards like Evil Sword Lars and Dark Beckoning Beast. And in this video, I plan to give you guys more long-term and short-term investments for you to be able to pick up before they skyrocket in price. Of course, if you want to see these videos a little bit sooner, you can catch me on stream at 9 a.m. on Twitch, or you can consider joining my Patreon as a special thank you for helping me pay my editor. Let's go ahead and jump on in. So first, I think that there's some things that we need to look at with the climate of this Yu-Gi-Oh card game. Right now, Yu-Gi-Oh is in a state of flux, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit later about the problems in Yu-Gi-Oh, but one thing that I want to mention is that there is a lot of players that don't want to invest into the Yu-Gi-Oh card game, and it's simply because they don't think it's a good idea. Right now, those players are playing like Lorcana, One Piece, or Digimon, but once the demand for Yu-Gi-Oh starts to go up, I think these cards will see a little bit of a bump, and then once these cards become in demand, that's when they'll skyrocket. I think overall, this entire list is for longer term investments. I don't see them immediately going up in price, but I see these cards proving their value later on in the year. If you don't have Seto Kaiba money, just say that. He basically just said, if you broke, just say that in Yu-Gi-Oh terms. Also, if you want to support and you don't have Kaiba money, you can use the TCG player link down below in the comment section. It really does help me out. The first card I think you guys should be looking into is a card that you should pick up before Rage of the Abyss. Rage of the Abyss is the next Yu-Gi-Oh set after Infinite Forbidden, and it's supposed to give a ton of support to water-based Yu-Gi-Oh decks. Looking at some of the best water cards that we have right now, Totally Awesome would be an easy candidate for a card that you should pick up. With cards like Baron DeFleur and Borreload Savage Dragon being banned and more water support on the way, getting your copies of Bahamut Shark to easily be able to make your Totally Awesome is going to be really important when Rage of the Abyss comes out. Shark is cool, Zombie is still the best archetype. What? Last year we started with the Year of the Fire. This year we might actually be moving towards the Year of the Water, where more water strategies are being supported. So it would be almost a no-brainer to pick up some of the most powerful cards for water Yu-Gi-Oh decks, and Totally Awesome would easily be one of them. Wasn't Year of the Water last year with Tear? Tears are dark monsters, bro. Not with all the tears I cried. But speaking of water cards, there is another card that I think that just came out in Age of Overlord. I think it's going to be an amazing Yu-Gi-Oh card. Now, granted, this card carries a potential risk because the 2025 Megatins can reprint it, but if it doesn't get reprinted and we get towards that Rage of Abyss set, this will be a highly sought after card. And to be honest, even if it does get reprinted, chat, I think that depending on the rarity, it still may be one of the cards that you may want. Full Armor Dark Knight Lancer is an incredible Yu-Gi-Oh card. It requires 3 level 7 monsters, which you'll never use, because you can also use it by using a rank 5 or 6 Exceed monster you control. And then upon its summoning, it allows you to add an Exceed card from your graveyard to your hand. But the best thing about its effect is that if a card becomes equipped to an equip card, you can attach one monster your opponent controls to this card as Exceed material. I think that this card is completely bonkers, especially when you realize that the card is generic. That whole Exceed package is secretly OP. No one is paying attention to it either. I used the package in Testina, and it's such a good turn 1 setup for decks. The card! He basically just put a Ferrari engine inside of his Honda. No, but in all seriousness, he is right about one thing. The card does bring out the best in so many decks and provides another form of interruption while also getting you advantage if you play the Exceed cards. You don't have to play the Exceed cards for this card to be good. All you have to do is play something that moderately equips cards to other cards, and you're winning with this card. I think you should most definitely pick up these copies. If you want to be 100% safe, get the quarter century rares of Full Armor Dark Knight Lancer, and if you want to be risky and hope that it doesn't get reprinted inside of the 10s, then I think you should be picking up the ultra rares. It's a draw, search, steal, and huge attack. Hey, yo, that card get jokey. I use it in Virtual World and it ate boards for dinner. That's crazy. The Yubel cards in support. Oh, you're cooking, my friend. So I made a deck profile on Yubel that I think you guys should check out because it's struggling, like me being able to play Bills because you guys haven't been checking the videos out. But Yubel is actually a lot better than what people are giving it credit. It's a deck that's been topping throughout the course of the format and we know will only get stronger. So it would be wise to invest into some of the hard to get cards for Yubel before they become incredibly incredibly hard to get, right? Oh yeah, the new Yubel fusion gonna go hard? That it is. And that's the reason why I think you guys should pick up Nightmare Throne. Nightmare Throne has two components. One is that it's going to be incredibly good for Yubel. Two is that it's going to be incredibly good for almost any Yu-Gi-Oh deck. Nightmare Throne essentially adds any Fiend monster with 0/0 from your deck to your hand. Konami's not going to stop printing Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and soon enough they're going to print Fiend monsters with 0/0. But more importantly, there is a combo with Nightmare Throne that you can use inside of your deck to make some really dangerous boards by making a small Yubel engine. Spec an already expensive card? Dog, we in a recession. Hey bro, you want me to give you the truth or you want me to just give you nothing but budget cards? I understand that Nightmare Throne is a decently expensive card at about $20 to $30. But I think this is going to be around the cheapest time you're going to get Nightmare Throne. It's already proven itself to be a successful card inside of a successful deck, and this is right before we get a ridiculous combo that more strategies can use. We got satellite money. We taking the trash for the card. Hey, yo, chat. Yeah, guess I'll wait for the reprint of next year's tins. I'm so sorry. I'm just telling you the truth of what's going to happen soon. Yeah, chat, look, I'm just telling y'all it's gonna get expensive before it gets expensive. I'm not making the card skyrocket in price. Shining Sark used Maximus and Ecclesia. You guys are really on that Shining Sarcophagus tip, aren't y'all? I think that the Shining Sarcophagus cards are something that you guys should pick up if you like the deck. But if you think that the deck is going to be like a high-tiered Yu-Gi-Oh deck overnight, I got some property in Kansas to sell you. It's oceanfront, I promise. I think you guys should look into picking up the Dogmatica cards simply because we know they're not getting reprinted, or have a strong feeling that they're not getting reprinted anytime soon. Dogmatica Ecclesia is a really good card. Being able to summon itself to the side of the field and also search Dogmatica cards, as well as Maximus being able to send cards from your extra deck to the graveyard. But more importantly, the Whitewood cards in Infinite Forbidden can also gain access to these cards. Pick up Despian Lulu with Lilith too? Yo, you're right. Because Despian Lulu with Lilith can be sent to the graveyard by Dogmatica Maximus and can summon any spellcaster monster that attack matches his defense. It just so happens that both level 2 White Forest monsters have 0 attack and 0 defense, and also happen to be spellcaster monsters that can be summoned with Despian Lulu with Lilith. I would be a little bit cautious on the secret rare copies of Lulu with Lilith because they could be reprinted inside of the 2024 Mega 10s, but as far as the quarter century rare copies, I think they're a little bit safer to pick up. I know it's getting a possible reprint, but if it doesn't, Unchained Yama, I would pick them up. More Yubel support comes in and other Fiend support too. Ultron, I 100% agree with you. And the reason why I think that this card is good is because not only is it Yubel support, it just so happens to be Fiend support. See, Unchained Soul Lord Yama allows you to special summon Fiend monsters from your hand or graveyard to your field. And the only thing that has to happen is a card to be destroyed. So if you guys want to be a little bit risky, pick up the ultra rare copies. There's almost a guaranteed possibility that one of these cards that we mentioned are going to be inside of the 10. But if you want to be safer, you pick up the quarter century rare versions of these cards. Yubel, Fiend Smith, Infernoate, those are all Fiend Yu-Gi-Oh decks that Unchained Soul Lord Yama can help. So I would strongly suggest at least having these cards or being prepared to get these cards from the 10s. Konami, I know you watch these videos. Ban all runic cards. Sincerely, the Yu-Gi-Oh community. Holy crap, he's not wrong. And I may have talked about it a little bit too hard, guys, but I also think that the Ragnaraka support is worth investing. We've seen some plant strategies top here and there, and I think investing into the Ragnaraka support is also another investment into the future. The reason why is because there isn't a lot of insect, reptile, or plant support. Well, there's not enough insect or reptile support. And anytime we get more of these cards, the Ragnaraka cards are going to be excellent choices to play alongside of those strategies. Reka is great until your opponent has Nib. We don't talk about Nib. It doesn't exist. Sincerely, a Solomon great player. And the best part about Ragnaraka is that we know it's not getting reprinted anytime soon because it did come out in Legacy of Destruction. I think Ragnaraka Evil Seed and Ragnaraka Bloom are some excellent pickups, especially while they're cheap. Let's not forget about Varudras. Ah, yes. How can I forget about Baron de Flora at home? Now, unfortunately, if you've been playing this card game for a couple of years, you know that Baron de Flora is a complete problem. And in the TCG, it is fortunately banned. But what if I told you that back in the day, Baron de Flora was not a problem in Yu-Gi-Oh because not many decks can summon it. Yes, it was powerful at the very top of the metagame because a lot of decks did use it, but since not every deck could have access to it, it wasn't that good. That's where Varudras is at right now. Boomer Cali comes in. No, Boomer Cali don't know about Baron. I ain't gonna lie, Baron has been out for like 4 years. So if you've been playing this game for 4 years, you go into kindergarten afterwards. I think Varudras is is one of those cards that isn't being played simply because not a lot of decks have access to it. But Konami will accidentally, because they always do, make a whole bunch of level 10 easy to summon monsters and make Verujas really playable. When that does happen, this card will become a commodity because it is an Omni Negate card that destroys cards for destroying cards. This seems like a Yubel video. It is not a Yubel video. By the way, go ahead and watch my Yubel deck profile in the duel video that I did because it needs some love. I think Verujas is really good simply because it's a very cheap card with a ton of Yu-Gi-Oh potential. And at $13 for a single copy, it seems like a solid investment. And if you don't want the cheaper version, you can go ahead and get the QCRs, which is also pretty good. And that's all that we got for today's video. If there's some cards that you guys think we should be picking up, go ahead and let us know down below in the comment section. But until then, make sure you check out these other videos so I can catch you on the next one.